Welcome back to another episode of the Hustler podcast. The boys have a very special guest on today, Ben from Bulk Nutrients. Ben is the founder of Bulk Nutrients, and you know what? I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Jason. I'm Ben Crowley from Bulk Nutrients. Bulk Nutrients is a company that I started getting close to 20 years ago now. It's probably about 18 years ago. We're a online, direct-to-the-consumer manufacturer of sports nutrition. So we do everything, sourcing the ingredients, all the quality control, all the manufacturing, and then send those products out to customers via e-commerce across Australia. Been doing that for close to 20 years.
Yep, and I think pretty much every viewer and listener would know Bulk Nutrients. If you don't, you've got some work to do. But I think everyone would know, and I think it'd be cool to put a face to the name as well.
Good. Look, if your users haven't heard of us, then they're probably paying too much for their supplements or not getting quality stuff.
Exactly right. And you know what? on that topic, can we go into that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
Because I was I won't name any brands.
Yep.
But I was a user of protein powder in my first few years of training.
Pre-workout
$89 for a tub, 30 servings of protein.
Yep.
And then moved to bulk. We all know protein is a extremely important part of building muscle, strength, performance, all that sort of stuff. And if you're having a scoop a day, 2 scoops a day, you want to try and find a way to make it affordable. And that's where bulk comes in, among other things that bulk does really well. So for the listeners as well, been an ambassador of Bulk Nutrients since I think it was pre-lockdown or maybe lockdown, so many years now. The go-to for me, the go-to for everyone at HUSLA here and the team. So it's been I guess a journey, and I've been able to see definitely some growth. I know you mentioned earlier your team has grown immensely recently as well.
Close to doubling size in the last 3 years. So.
That's insane.
Wow.
And then the 3 years before that, similar too. So, yeah, we're up to about 150 staff now, and you go back sort of 6 years, and that was probably more like 60 or so.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
That's wild.
Just I'll say Jason, on your ambassadorship, one thing that's nice about yourself and virtually all of our ambassadors, I think all of our ambassadors, is that they're customers first. And that's always huge for us. So that authenticity, knowing someone believes in the brand, is connected to us. We don't reach out and, offer crazy amounts of money to athletes who've never heard of us.
I reached
out. But you can reach out too because you're a customer. And
the
first thing we'll say is, okay, do you believe in us already?
Yeah.
And if you're buying from us, then that's the best endorsement you can
100%.
give us. So, yeah, that's
100%.
Yeah, because I remember us, growing up through our earlier years of training in the gym and stuff, as a younger person wanting to achieve your goals in the gym and all that kind of thing, it can be quite an expensive pursuit. Like it's not cheap. Like, getting all the right training gear and lifting straps or whatever it is, and supplements, especially if you're trying to gain that edge, like pre-workout, and like who didn't use pre-workout when they first, I'm kind of just on the coffees and a little bit of non-stim at the moment, which is great, by the way. But earlier on, it was like, spending all this money on pre-workout and protein. And I was similar to Jason. Like, I was kind of going with other brands until I heard about Bulk. And then Bulk at the time was literally half the price. Yeah. And as a young student at the time, it was like a godsend, So it was, it was awesome. It was awesome. And it's like easy to see how that brand has grown because you're offering something to the, the Australian kind of population. Do you guys ship worldwide? Or just
we do, but it's mainly Australia.
Yeah, so, cool. You're offering something at a way better price than what's on the market. So it's
batch tested.
Easy. Yeah, exactly
Aussie owned company.
That's the biggest thing as well. It's Aussie owned, it's Aussie run, all that kind of thing. So it just makes you want to support that business even more. So
well, what you talk about there with the pricing, the value, that was like really important. So it all started when I was living in Japan, and I started buying supplements from America because the Japanese market was pretty bad. I started buying Optimum Nutrition and the big American brands, and I looked at the price they paid in America compared to Australia, and I thought, something's going on here. Someone's making a lot of money in Australia, and we can make things more efficient. And my first goal was actually to import American products straight to Australia. And the more I looked into it, I realised that some of the best whey protein in the world came from Australia and New Zealand, and the manufacturing of those products was not going to be that complex. And one thing led to another, and then we set up the manufacturing. But the idea was always to do everything on a big scale, and really create that saving for customers, so we can take out all of that wastage. And back then, I think there was some really big margins in the industry. Like, the importers and the distributors were making a lot, and that's kind of since contracted. But yeah, the advantage we offered, and we still offer, to a large extent, just a much more cost effective structure.
Way more cost effective. It's still somewhat like around the 50% less range, And anyway, just back to that topic as well. You mentioned that it's expensive getting into it. Straps, all the lifting gear. Do you want to do a giveaway, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can give away some stuff and make it a little bit more cost effective for one person out there. So
what are you going to give away?
I'll give away a leg extension add-on 2 straps from HUSLA Lifting.
Cool. Well, maybe we'll give away some protein matrix. That's a great product.
You want to go harder?
Yeah. We'll talk about pre-workout, so we better put some of our new Ultra in there. Yeah. A lot of people have stomach issues, so we'll throw in some of the new gut product too.
Yeah.
So
add straps to the list. From
Let's keep it going. Load it up. Let's go.
There's no point in having all of these great products unless they've got a bulk T-shirt and a stainless shaker too.
I think I'm gonna have to throw in a couple more bits and pieces.
Who's gonna win?
We'll do tripod and cuffs as well. That's over $250 worth of value.
Oh yeah, now we're talking. That's a giveaway.
That's pretty hefty.
That's a giveaway. In total value across
over 500.
Absolutely.
At least.
Someone's getting kitted.
Yeah.
Someone's getting fully kitted.
Yeah.
So how do they go into the draw for this?
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Well, guys, we're doing a giveaway. Bulk Nutrients, HUSLA Lifting. It's a big one, over $500 worth of value. You're going to have to keep watching the podcast to find out how to go into the draw. I'm going to keep forgetting my sentences.
Unreal.
Anyway,
I wanted to ask,
solid.
How was it starting that before? Had you done much in business previously? Like, I know you had this brilliant idea after going to Japan, but what inspired it? And what did that process look like? Did it take years and years? Did you make lots of mistakes? Like, what was it like?
Yeah, look, great question. So, I mean, everyone looks at bulk now and just goes, look, this is a monster. How did you start this? But like all businesses, same as you guys, you start at a certain point and then you evolve over time and you start small. And it was basically that. So one of the first things I did was contact a lot of suppliers, work out where ingredients were coming from, work out my cost, what the likely cost structure was, timing in terms of getting ingredients into Australia, what I could get locally, and started doing some testing with flavouring up products and things. And the first mixing machine, because obviously you need to blend protein, so you put it in a mixer. My friend and I made it, which is pretty cool. So we got a stainless drum. We used a washing machine motor to actually turn the drum around. I love that stuff.
That's awesome.
It's very different now because we're such a big business. But the idea of like saving money and DIYing, like when I can, that was been probably one of the biggest benefits of the business early on.
Wow.
It's kind of hard to lose that mindset as you get bigger. But I think that kind of grittiness and, just being creative and coming up with ideas is cool.
Do you still have it? Do you still have
we used to have it on display. I don't think so.
A memento.
Which is a bit of a shame. It looked pretty cool. I got a photo. And the funny thing was it could only mix about 30 kilos of protein. Then what happened is that there's too much slippage with the belts because it's like a V-drive belt system. Like an alternator on a car, old school alternator. Anyway, we're like, what do we do? And so we just doubled up the pulleys. So we had 2 pulleys. It's like putting a wider tyre on a car,
Unreal.
It's very on brand for you to have built that after the conversation we had prior about cars and the passion there as well. So very, very on brand.
Nah, it's cool. just something I was going to say too before you were talking about, value for money and, people endorsing certain products or whatever. One of the things that always frustrated me about the industry, I've seen some great, very credible bodybuilders get up on stage, and unfortunately their need for their commercial interest is much greater than their need to be honest. And I remember seeing one guy and it frustrated the hell out of me. It's someone asked him a question in the crowd like, what's the best product someone can use? And it's like, if you don't say, protein or creatine, it's like, come on. And anyway, he gave this massive spiel about BCAAs and how they're great and whatever. And obviously, a lot of that's been debunked now. But it's just, that kind of stuff used to frustrate the hell out of me because it's like, they're an expensive boutique product. Look, I'm sure they certainly have some benefits, but you could never recommend that to almost anyone over protein and creatine.
Yeah, no chance. No chance.
And just the fact that people would lead with that kind of stuff is the kind of thing that inspired me to do this and have transparent marketing and be really straight up with people. Because look, if you're a uni student or apprentice or whatever else, and you haven't got much money to spend on supplements, you don't want to be buying pre-workouts and BCAAs. You want to be buying protein and creatine.
100%. That's the go-to. That's a good diet, some protein and some creatine is the go-to. 100%.
Yep.
Heavily evidence-backed.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah, and if you do want to buy the extras, like a little, like we always say, like, we might call them 1%ers, but they add up over time. Like, they're important. But if you do want to buy them, you don't want to buy them for 3 times the price, pay for shipping overseas, and not support a local business.
Yep. And buy them after, start with the basics, do the 90%ers first. Yep. Obviously get your diet right, get your training right. They're the main things. 100%. And then, look, you've been doing that for a while, and then add an extra product in. So, I'm sure, I'm preaching the converted here. So,
literally.
Unreal.
Literally. So, obviously, there would have been, obviously, you've been into your lifting, your exercise.
Yep.
Tell us how that sort of, what's the right word for it?
Maybe,
I mean, how did that sort of...
Did it have an influence? Is that what you asked? Did it have an influence on getting down this pathway?
Yeah, well, kind of, like in an indirect way. So the interesting way I actually marketed bulk in the first place is I used to be right into some of the weightlifting and fitness forums. So you guys are probably all a little bit young, actually, but back before Facebook and Instagram and everything, people used to use message forums. Yeah, and they were huge. They were sort of 15, 20 years ago. And so the idea is that you talk about these things still exist for cars and other kind of topic matter. They get on there and talk about products and what people use and how to train better, etc. And we became really influential with that crowd. And I think what was amazing about that is that the only way for companies to market products to that point was through like magazines and things. And so you had the big flashy American brands and lots of magazine money. But we found that getting on forums, being involved, because I was always involved anyway. Like I was someone that would learn and encourage. And then when I started the company, people were obviously like, okay, this guy's not full of shit. And I connected with people that saw what I was doing, or like, mate, this is a great product, transparent marketing, pure ingredients, lab testing, etc. This is the stuff I want to promote. And that was a really big part of getting us credibility in the first place. And
100%.
the thing that's great about it was genuine. It was that wasn't a strategic move. It was just kind of inadvertent because that was the environment I was in.
Well, you'd already built your personal brand amongst the other forum users, right?
Yep.
It's the foundation of good businesses a lot of the time.
Yes.
It's how they start. A good reputation, not taking the shortcut to line your pockets and stuff like that. Yes. And then trust in the long-term, gain of building a nice reputation for your business.
And there were some dudes on there that were kind of doing stuff with other companies, and you could see that they'd like, jump on just to spruik their product. I had like 860 posts, and these guys may have like 35, and it's kind of like, one has credibility and the other doesn't, so
So you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's like a really cool, I guess, quote unquote underdog story where you get essentially a grassroots brand from Australia building themselves up legitimately, and I guess maintaining integrity and doing that rather than just relying on the biggest bodybuilder or whoever's got a huge following to push products that most brands deep down would know that these products probably aren't worth the money that they're charging. So I think it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, no,
it's
absolutely.
It's a breath of fresh air in the social media space for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think we live in a better world now though, because I think back then the user endorsements, and obviously there is a lot of money involved and stuff, but I think that the ability for people and brands with a genuine message to cut through is better now than it used to be. Like in the past, it's like if you had a brand, unless you had X amount to market, on TV, on radio, or magazines, then it was really hard to get any traction. So And
fitness for you now, it's still something that you
Yeah,
love?
huge. So there was probably about 5 years when I was building the business where I almost stopped training, and it was
I can feel
it's kind
that.
of funny because I look back now and I see photos and I'm like, oh, you're a bit of a fat bastard. but I also look at it and go, man, that dude was so dedicated to building that business. You know, so I'm kind of proud of myself too because obviously it's a very sort of aesthetic industry, and when you know, it's, look, don't get me wrong, I'm 45 now and like looking after myself and trying to look good, and all of that is really, really important, more about longevity and health. But if you're ever in a stage in your life where you're just so single-minded about something, it's kind of cool at the same time, you know, because that's all I wanted to do. And there was about probably of my last 20 years, maybe it was 4 years or so that I almost completely stopped training, but that was... Yeah, like literally for 2 months, every single weekend I'd be in Melbourne or Sydney or Adelaide, you know, Queensland, at a bodybuilding show, you know. I'd be, both days, I'd be giving out samples, setting up booths, just 100% focused on building the business.
Grinding.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. It's definitely the grind. I remember busting my ACL. It wasn't always the healthiest guy. I think I was drunk at a party and someone up.
As you do.
Yeah. Anyway, I busted my ACL. It's after a knee. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. Probably a bit of a lifting industry.
Recovering from it right now. Yep.
Well, I'd organised to meet a whole lot of retailers. This is when we were doing a bit of stuff in retail. And it was like a couple of days later, I'm like, I can't not do this. And so I was just hobbling around Melbourne with this knee that wouldn't work properly and just thinking, man, this sucks.
But look at it now.
Yeah,
all
that's right.
worth it in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's great.
Who needs an ACL? Who needs it?
Were you putting products on shelves initially, or were you straight to online?
Well, yeah, this is an interesting story. So we had the two brands. Well, we actually started with Bioflex. So the master brand is actually still called Bioflex, and then Bulk Nutrients, obviously our brand that everyone knows. So originally when I started, the idea was, because online was really only just emerging. So the idea was we'd do online and also through retail. But as I was starting, there were some other companies, and I noticed that they were pushing direct to online. And so I had this funny moment where I wanted to sell direct to a customer. Like, you know, you want to buy from us, I want to sell you as economically as I can. But the problem is, if I'm also selling that product through a retailer, I have to give them a certain margin. You know, there's nothing I can do about that. And we realised we had this conflict, and it was sort of, you know, do I reduce their margin or do I increase the price to the customer? I can't be competitive then. And that's when I came up with the idea of Bulk Nutrients. And I thought, okay, we're not going to have any conflict. Bioflex will be for retail, Bulk Nutrients will be online. And look, it was just, you know, every 6 months or, you know, year that we reviewed it, Bulk Nutrients just absolutely skyrocketed and overtook Bioflex. But it was the ability to connect directly to the customer, you know, send to them and communicate that message. And a lot of retailers, they can be pretty slow, you know, a bit behind the times. And for us, it made a massive difference just to be able to have that direct communication channel and then sales channel. So but over time, we'd less and less with Bioflex, and finally retired that brand only a few years ago. And we actually do a bit of Bulk Nutrients through retail, but originally it was both, and then it sort of moved over. Bulk
Nutrients.
Online's everything now.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it changed. How quickly it changed too.
We're all about it. Whatever it is that we're buying, it's like, all right, let's just get it. We don't have to. I mean, at least the way that I see it is and it's like a cliche thing, but time is money at the end of the day. Like, to drive, go pick something up, and you can just order it. It's there in a day or two or three or whatever. And you're saving time. And like you, I guess, I find that for me, I'm like time poor. Like, I'm here all the time, and I have the focus on just the business, and it's like I'm not going to go and buy something from somewhere else when I can just get it delivered. So just did it with the new phone as well. So the whole world's moving in that direction. You know. Definitely. 100%.
It makes marketing very important.
Marketing's
Instead
huge.
of having reps that are out in stores, you know, teaching the retailers how to, you know, the benefits of the product. Now you've got to inform people about these products. You've got to show it, you know, get it in front of their faces. I feel like it's changed how marketing works entirely now. I mean, I know word of mouth is very good with bulk. I've got like friendship groups that have group chats set up.
Nice.
And they do orders of bulk nutrients all together. All of them put their order in, they put one big order in, and all the boys come and pick it up afterwards. So word of mouth is huge. I think word of mouth, if a mate of yours comes up and tells you, oh, I've been taking this protein, it's unreal.
Yep.
You'll never question them. Like, you'll trust them and you'll buy it because they've been taking it.
Yep.
Word of mouth is fantastic, but now with everything online, you've got to get it in front of their face somehow.
Yeah.
You've got to teach them about the product too.
Yes.
I think that's maybe why ambassadors are important as well.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think look with an online brand, especially one in a kind of trendy industry like ours. You have to have a whole suite of stuff. So it's social media marketing, good organic social media, brand ambassadors, Google ads, all of that stuff. Like you can't not have. You can't sort of just ignore any channel completely.
The way that I see it is. You can rely on word of mouth, you can rely on having a shop front where there's foot traffic and all that sort of stuff, but you're missing a whole market of people that your competitors are marketing to online, and the first place they're going to go is what they've been seeing non-stop on their 9 hours of screen time on their phone every day. You're going to go to that. So you're closing a whole door if you're not like any business right now, if they're not marketing, and this is like obviously Lockie's bread and butter here at HUSLA Media, but if you're not marketing, it's like you're missing out.
You're going backwards. And this is the thing, like we spoke before about our growth numbers, which are obviously really impressive. I don't grow the business to get richer, or just because I want to have a bigger business. That's, I guess, part of it, but a big part of it is staying relevant and making sure your business is secure. If you're in an industry and it's growing at 20 or 30% a year and you're growing at 5 or 10%, you're going backwards. So for us, it's always about ensuring that we're growing at the same rate of the industry, or very often it's 2 or 3 times the rate of industry growth. We've been very fortunate, but yeah, I think it's really easy to be apathetic and think you're doing a fair bit when or you're not even keeping up. Can
I ask you?
Yep.
This is something that you've just, I guess, educated me on. But what metrics do you use to see industry growth and then business growth?
There's all sorts of things. So we'd cross-reference lots of data. So there's sort of official reports that come out in terms of how much the industry's growing.
Yep.
You can use things like Google keywords, trend changes and stuff too.
Yep.
You can check competitors' websites and things. You can get a lot of data on the growth there. Yep. So you'd have a look at a whole lot of different data points, and we normally sort of do that and then sort of average it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
It's not something that I've thought of.
Yep.
And the other thing as well, like I think I've noticed in the more recent years, you can correct me if I'm wrong, just based on the actual timeline of it, but you've also introduced a lot of products that you didn't have in the past.
Yes. Yep.
So I believe you obviously protein and all that kind of thing would have been the first focus, but more of your supplements and stuff that you guys didn't used to have, like which is awesome because like some of the like magnesium glycinate and things like this, things that everyone's that these are like the next creatines of the it's like, oh, we're starting to see that these things are really beneficial. And I think you've kind of now tapped into that as well, and you're now once again like you're providing a cure.
It's
a cheaper price point, still like obviously the great ingredients and good dosages and all that kind of thing, but just a lot cheaper. So is that part of evolving with it? Like you're watching what are the trends? How's it all moving?
It is, absolutely. And so let's go back to what I said before about protecting your business and making it secure as possible. So not only is growing the size of your business in a market important, but also growing the breadth of your business. And I think that over time, the world is going more and more towards marketplaces. So that's things like, like Wish and Amazon and or whatever they are. Sorry, mental blank at the moment. So all of these kinds of things, they're getting big. Yeah. And so you want to become a marketplace yourself. And so for us, we want to be the place where if you're buying supplements, if you can buy 2 products from us and you could buy 4 from a competitor, even if we're better on pricing, you might not use us. And so for us, having that sort of broad breadth of products was really important, and the convenience. You jump on in one store and you can get your 4 or 5 products. That was really important. And then also too, being able to guarantee people. It's like if you buy our product, we can absolutely guarantee the purity, so we know you're getting good product. And the bigger our business is, the more people we employ and the more we build community. And it's cool.
100%, yeah.
Just touching on that purity point, like I know even on reading on the bulk website, like you guys are huge on purity, and obviously the supplement industry seems to be in some way like almost the Wild West. Like you get some of the biggest protein brands in the world, they essentially tested purity and the protein label, like the quantity of protein didn't actually match what was in the powder, and amino spiking and things like that. I guess it'd be cool to hear your thoughts just on quality in general in the industry and regulation, and I guess how
Don't
you
hold
guys
back.
You've got a lot to say.
how you guys
I got a lot of stories.
Unleash.
Yeah, I could talk quite a while on this, but one of our sort of my most proud foundational stories. I'll go into that now, but it's a great question. I will say that on the whole, the big brands are pretty good, especially nowadays. You'll get a bit of a deviation between like what's on the label and then what it tests at, but that will be about the company's kind of displaying the best case scenario more than actually being illegitimate or trying to be strategic about misleading people, I suppose. But now I have a story from it must be 10 to 15 years ago now, but it was like a bit of a mini war within our industry. And when I say our industry, so this was like sports nutrition, but online and the generic space where it's kind of manufacturer direct.
Yep.
But there were some guys that popped up. I think they were out of Sydney, and they were manufacturing product and selling it. And they were getting price competitive with us, and it all seemed a bit suspicious because not only were their prices good, but there was a whole lot of other brands popping up around the place. And it's like, I reckon this is manufactured by the same people. And we manufactured and sold direct to the customer. And these people that I obviously manufactured for were doing it and then undercutting us on price. Now, we knew how expensive it was to make a product. We had great scale. We had a whole lot of efficiencies. For someone to be able to undercut us, a smaller company, whilst being a middleman, we thought, look, something's a bit suspicious here. So anyway, we tested some of their product and, oh, man. So basically, we talk about deviations in testing. So let's say WPI, let's say it's 86% once it's flavoured on the label. That comes back at sort of 82, 83%. That's fine. These guys' products came back at like 40 to 50%.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
It was crazy. But what they were doing, they were literally cutting at 50-50 with maltodextrin.
Oh, my God.
Now, what's really interesting here is it's almost like you got a band of criminals that are all kind of working together. So actually getting that information and letting and then displaying it to the public is pretty tricky, because there's a lot of people that don't want you to get that information out, and there's a lot of people that can work together to try and shut you down. And so
almost starts to sound like a drug trade.
Oh well, hey, it's a shifty industry, and I think one of the problems with the industry is that we all know that bodybuilding there's I shouldn't even say illegitimate sides to it, but there's big parts of bodybuilding which is not legal, and if you've got guys involved in that kind of trade, then they slip over to this, and they're probably not going to have the same standards, and the same ethics and morals and whatever. Sorry, just to be clear, I'm not suggesting that everyone who competes in an untested fed is like that. There's heaps and heaps of good guys that are using massive amounts of juice. That's not the problem, but it's that kind of illegal syndicates that I guess start to form.
Yep.
So anyway, we're like, what are we going to do about this? And so we'd actually been testing our product for a little while, and we tested their product and realised it was crap. But it's like, you put this information out there, people want to shut you down and threaten to take you to court and whatever else.
Worse,
we started getting the word out there, and it was pretty tricky. But I ended up having to develop this kit, which is basically a kit that we could send people, which checks for the presence of carbohydrates. And we ended up making all of these free kits and sending them to people. And luckily, it was only the momentum that got people testing product, and then the flooding of information, people wanting to share that really got all this shut down, which is pretty cool.
That's a smart
Wow.
smart
Yeah.
strategy. That's why you said you're proud of it. Yeah. That's a smart one.
Well, this is the really funny twist. So you guys know my name's Ben, right? My actual full name is Benedict. Now, the solution you use to test for the presence of carbohydrates in science is called Benedict's solution.
There's the Benedict
So
solution.
Benedict used Benedict's solution and developed this kit, and it brought all the bad motherfuckers down. But I got death threats and everything.
You got the protein squad.
Someone called up and left a death threat, and that was one of the times. Sometimes being in Tasmania sucks. That was the time when being in Tasmania was awesome.
You had a moat around you.
Exactly.
It's like
No
a
one was going to
task force
fly
to bring
down.
down illegal bloody protein
Cut
manufacturers.
protein.
Yeah, cut protein.
When these guys went down, though, it was it was funny. It was a really it was a microscope to people's individual ethics, because there was a couple of guys, actually some guys involved in a powerlifting gym. It's quite a well-known powerlifting gym. I won't mention it. I think it's in Queensland or New South Wales. They were one of the only cool people who kind of came out and said, this is shit, we're going to give customers a refund, or we're going to be open about this. But all the brands that they were supporting otherwise were like, no, this is all bullshit and it's not true, and no, it's, don't believe him. And I just thought, dudes, like, these are your customers, you should be going back to your supplier and saying, you need to fix this, rather than, calling your customers bloody liars.
Just denying it.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it blew me away. But it just realised that when people are desperate and on their backs, they do some. Well, if you've got shaky morals in the first place,
Yep, 100%.
And I think there's the thing too. If someone's developing you a product and selling to it, and it's too good to be true, if you haven't asked the right questions, there's probably a reason why you haven't asked the right questions. Yeah. But what was really funny, when this company that was responsible for it all went under. It was one of those sort of momentum kind of situations that I think that turns out they had workplace health and safety issues, and they owed suppliers hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they say this, like, if a company is dodgy in one area, they're probably dodgy in a whole lot of areas, It was just a matter of time until they collapsed. And if you operate a business like that and treat people like that, then it's kind of going to, show through in other ways.
Not if, when.
Yeah.
So my question as well on that topic to you is that what protects the customer? For example, obviously you took it upon yourself and probably a bunch of other people as well in the industry that they thought that this was wrong.
Yep.
You took it upon yourself. Now, what else protects the customer? For example, like, would you be able to go to somebody and say, hang on a second, you guys need to really look into this? Or
good question. It's a frustrating one. Yes, I mean there's the ACCC, and there's also dairy authorities or food authorities in different states. But the issue that we've found, because we've lobbied them a lot, is they care much more about food safety than they do about product quality. And so if you tackle this from a way, I think in the end we tackled it from a way of, hang on, if someone's diabetic and it says 2% carbohydrates and it's 40% carbohydrates, that could be a danger. And so they're much more worried about disease and bacteria and that kind of thing than they are about a product being cut.
Yeah. What about advertising wise?
Yeah, look, I mean, just be clear, these companies contravene a lot of laws, but the problem is that the policing around that, someone has to do the work and the due diligence, and it's. But the best thing about this is that everything always catches up with people eventually, and I don't want to disprove this because we're a large company, we're legitimate now, but generally, if a company has reached a certain size and there's credibility around them, they're probably going to be doing the right thing. I mean, us personally, we've got literally 700 lab tests for the last 13 years, all the WPI, WPC, Matrix, Earth Protein, etc. Lab tests every single month on our website. And for us, it's like, hey, we want you to test our product. We encourage you to ask companies if they're testing their own products, and this is the standard we set in terms of transparency and purity.
That's awesome.
Yep. So, yeah.
So, what's a solution for the industry out there that's not sure if their supplements are pure?
Well, look, don't be afraid to get lab testing yourself. Say to the company you're buying from, do you have any lab tests? And if they send you a lab test from like 4 years ago, or if they send you a lab test that says it's free of bacteria or whatever else, that's not what you're asking for. It takes a bit of education from customers, but I would say never ever be afraid to probe. Say to the company, where do your ingredients come from? What proteins are you using? And it's funny, a lot of companies just don't want to be transparent at all with any of that stuff. We had this test once, it was interesting. So basically like 96% of the world's creatine supply comes from China. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with Chinese creatine. We use it, it's world class. Yep. But you try and get this information out of companies, and it'll be a long time until they tell you. Especially the companies that charge a lot for their product, they'll sort of, tell you all sorts of stories and, push in one direction to the other to try and avoid answering that question.
So the other solution is get on Bulk Nutrients' website.
Yeah, well,
I'll say it.
There's plenty of other good companies out there, but I think that the more questions we ask and the more you push and your supplier, your favourite company for information, the better. And what they should be doing is they should be going back to you with open arms, sharing information and wanting to help, not kind of shut you down. It's just back to this lab testing quickly. It's been really interesting to see. We still offer a free lab testing service.
Yep.
So one of you guys buys a competitor's product and wants to test it, we will actually allow you to do that for free, and you'll deal directly with the lab. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, you deal directly
That
with the
is
lab.
cool.
All we do is pay the bill. But
Yeah.
seeing companies get out of this, oh my gosh, like it's, we've seen dodgy companies that say, get the sample, you have to sign a stat deck saying you're the only one that's, bought the product, touched the product, whatever, send it to the lab. And we've seen companies, once customers have presented them with the lab results, be like, no, bulk nutrients, this is them, and it's not true, and the lab's illegitimate, and you're lying, like literally going to war with the customers.
Wow.
And it's been crazy because we've just had I tell you what, they say that a good endorsement is worth what in terms of share word of mouth. If you get a bad endorsement, these companies are crazy. Not only are they attacking their customers, but it's like, they're doing the absolute worst thing for business, because you have an experience like that, how many people are you going to talk to,
Jeez, that's
Insane.
I think that's so good though that you guys offer that, because it's a way that you're not even forcing people to choose your product.
Yep.
You're actually just trying to bring up the whole standard of the industry in general by doing that. Someone can, if for whatever reason you guys, I don't know, maybe you don't have a flavour that somebody really likes or something, but you're still offering them that opportunity to make sure that the protein that they're getting or the pre-workout that they're getting, whatever it is tested safe, exactly what they need.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, we're totally honest too. If you come to me and say, not me now, but our lab testing guy, and say, look, about to test product X, you guys happy to do that? We will say to you, look, dude, people have tested that over the last 3 years. It's always been great. So no problem, So I guess in a way we're endorsing other companies.
Yeah, exactly right.
So
If they're doing the right thing, you're bringing them up with you.
Yeah.
It's a true alignment of values right there.
Yep.
I've got a little drink that I prepared for us.
Might be a bit early in the day for this one.
What is it?
You know what it is?
I'll get the
Ben,
No,
Is it-
no idea. Dunno.
Is it the
Ben, can you
pre?
tilt your
Oh,
mic
people
towards
say
it? She
that.
just tilt it.
It
That
looks
way?
like
Yeah,
protein.
perfect.
All
All
good.
good now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Now, I made an icy drink for us to...
Very ice.
Oh my God.
For those that are just listening, Jace is pouring. What do you got in there?
Do we want to say it?
What?
Or not?
Or does no one else know
I
what
thought it
is?
was protein, but it
Does
doesn't.
I think
everyone-
it's protein water or something.
Does
Or
everyone drink caffeine?
yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Awesome.
pre-workout then, isn't it?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Iced. It's like I don't mind that, a bit of a slushy pre-workout.
Slush.
It's right. Half's on the
Slushed
floor.
up. Right. Now, it's quite a good pre-workout. So I've done a half serving for us.
Okay.
So I thought I'd bring it out because it's a limited edition flavour from this company.
Oh, this is the one you posted the other day. Is it? Yeah. Ooh, it smells good.
The best flavour. The best flavour. Have I given enough of it away, Ben?
That's actually really nice.
It's like cola ultra or something, or
Oh, I've just dropped it. I've just dropped
it down the
that's,
bag.
That's great.
I was going to say grape.
Great.
it's great.
It is great.
Can you believe I used to
Purple
flavour
grape.
product? That's why they taste a whole lot better now. Yeah, 10 years ago, it's so good. Yeah, now you say grape, it's grape.
Purple grape.
Yeah.
I'm
That
going
is really nice. It tastes
Need
like-
another pick-me-up.
It tastes like a Slurpee.
So it's grape. It's stim. Yeah, sorry, Lucky, I forgot to get you a cup.
that's all right.
Do you want
So
this one?
it's
I've had 2 coffees already.
with stim.
Just try it.
I've tried it already.
Oh, I've just got a cramp in my throat. It is with stim, so it's pre-workout with caffeine.
Cool.
From Bulk Nutrients, obviously.
Yep.
And it's a limited edition flavour that came out on the 5th. Now, my understanding is that once they sell out, they're gone.
Yeah, generally. Yeah, and that's just, if we don't do that, we end up with just, more and more shelves of different flavours and things. So, yeah, the whole limited release product is something that we do.
You guys do them at least once or twice a year, quite regularly.
Yeah, no heaps. We're actually doing something bit different. From here on, at least we're trialling it. So what we used to do is, it might be a month of, let's say, grape, just pre-workout. But what we're going to do come January this year is that we're going to pick a flavour and we're going to apply it to as many products as we can. And so that way, let's say it's a mango, tropical mango or something like that, rather than having it just for WPC, it'd be WPC, WPI, Matrix, protein water, all the products that flavour works well in. Because what used to happen is someone would go, oh, look, that grape sounds awesome. I don't use pre-workout, you know.
Yeah.
So how do I get that? And it's more cost effective for us, or more efficient from a marketing angle too, because we're promoting a flavour across a suite of products, you know. So maybe 1 in 3 or 4, or 1 in 2 or 3 people that jump on the website might be really interested in that flavour, versus like 1 in 20 if it's a niche product. So yeah.
Where the hell did mine go?
I got it. You want it back?
Yeah. It's good.
I'm gonna kind of a bit of a random question.
Thank
just
you.
out of curiosity, how do you actually make whey protein? Like, what is the process?
So
Cam's explained to me before that it's like from the cow and how they anyway. You'll explain. Yeah,
They're bulk cows. It's just bulk nutrients.
Bulk cows.
Probably
Bulk
pretty
farm.
big one. So just to be clear too, so when we make whey protein, what we do is that we're getting the raw whey protein that's already processed in dry form,
Yep.
and then we're combining it with other flavours, sweeteners, and ingredients and things depending on the mix. So we're only dealing with raw powders. But in terms of at the whey protein processing plant, so what happens is when they make cheese, the whey is separated from the cheese. I don't know if you guys have heard the nursery rhyme about the curds and the whey. Probably a bit young, actually. There used to be a nursery rhyme about the curds and the whey, and separating the curds and the whey. So basically, that's what they used to separate in the cheese-making process. And as sort of 30 or more years ago, literally the liquid whey used to be just thrown across paddocks and used as fertiliser. And then I think someone realised it was really rich in protein, but in its liquid form, it's very low in protein because there's a whole lot of water and things there, and obviously some carbs and lactose and stuff that's present. But you start with that liquid form of whey, and then that's I guess quite heavily processed in terms of it's filtered, it's dried, and sort of heated, and there's some extractions done often. So you end up with as much protein as possible and as little fats and carbs as possible.
Beautiful. And
the difference between WPI and WPC is just a further amount of processing. Yeah, and so WPI, there's a bit more wastage and stuff to end up with that really pure product. And WPC is a little bit more crude, I suppose.
So WPI is like the lowest calorie form of protein, and then WPC has a couple extra grams of fat and carbs in it.
Yep.
It's kind of why you get that thicker flavour, I guess, from the WPC.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. That's sort of the carbs and fats help a little bit with texture and mouthfeel. But I mean, back to my sort of inspiration, the budget days, I used to say to people all the time, like, look, if you're on a budget, just use WPC because, you pay sort of 40% more for WPI and you're only getting sort of 10 to 12% more protein.
Yep.
I mean, look, if it's the difference between $1.50 a serve and, $1 a serve isn't a big deal to you, then of course it doesn't matter. Just get the one that you taste better, and WPI is absorbed a little bit faster, so there's some benefits there.
I'm a big fan of the Matrix Plus.
Cool. Okay.
It's a blend of WPC, WPI.
It is.
And a couple of others. So that's I think that's got a very good flavour.
Yep.
Nice. I think I also should ask as well now that we're on this topic. What is the best seller?
So funny, if you'd asked this question a couple of years ago, I would say WPI vanilla. But now in terms of the single SKU that sells the most, I think creatine has just overtaken it, which is pretty crazy. But creatine has just exploded over the last sort of 2-3 years.
Should we talk about the gummies?
Yeah. Hey, we're about to get into gummies, so
unreal.
Wow.
Unreal.
Cool.
I was gonna ask. So like the whole, I guess that goes back to the whole purity thing. Like, there's a massive talk at the moment. Like, they've tested all these gummies and there's just like bugger all creatine in them at all.
Yep. It's very timely, this conversation, because literally it was yesterday. Literally yesterday, we had a whole panel of our staff, our marketing team, and customer service and web dev because we got 2 sites where I work, and we were doing some testing, some evaluations on gummies that we're going to use or we're going to sell. And so we have a third party making these products, and I think it was that were involved in that scandal, but we had the gummies there too, and oh man, it just made us laugh because the creatine gummies we're going to sell, look, they're pretty good, but you taste them and that gritty kind of sandy creatine taste
Because it's got creatine in it.
Exactly. You taste the other ones and she's just a lolly.
That makes sense.
Well, we all joked and we're like, man, this tastes like it's got no creatine in it.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. So from my understanding of that is that most of the companies are putting the creatine on the outside.
I don't know. Look, I don't think. I think that there were certainly some batches that didn't have creatine in them. Because,
At all?
Look, I don't think so, because even creatine ends up as creatinine, which is the byproduct. You're still going to have that sandy compound that's in there, you know. Yep. So, yeah. I haven't followed it enough. I've obviously watched a bit of the James Smith stuff, which I thought was cool. And that guy's a dude. Like, I think that... that's another thing I like about the age of the internet, is that back in the day when, you know, I was talking about message forums and things, people would kind of come out and be a bit outspoken, and you see them get shut down by companies. You know, they'd obviously get like letters and emails behind the scenes threatening to shut them down, and people would just stop talking. Whereas I think now that people have... there's enough smart people around that are organised, that know how to defend themselves, where they can get these messages out. And I love it anytime I see an individual take on companies and they've backed themselves and, you know, really sort of done the research. I always take my hat off to them. So, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
There was something I wanted to say.
What's the key advantage to gummies? It's just a different method of getting it in, or
just convenience. Yeah. I mean, look, effectively you're paying a pretty big premium in convenient form, but it just comes back to that thing that, I don't know, you know, only 20% of the population are probably ever going to go to a gym for whatever reason, and it's only maybe about the same 20% of people that actually want to have a shake in the morning, put the powder in. And it's like, you know, you see your mum or your lazy uncle or whatever else, they think that's weird. So, you know, but they'll have a gummy. So it's just that different form.
The cool thing is that obviously the evidence is clearly, now that being your bestseller, is getting out there. People are listening, people are understanding it, and people are realizing that, like, it's literally one of the most probably best studied supplement that you can get, and it shows in your numbers as well, which is cool. Should I also say, like, you know, the podcast thing?
what podcast thing?
Bestseller.
We got it.
Yeah. Do I need to say it or not?
At the end.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Got you.
Just back to creatine, I think that the advantage has been it's gone from something that's used for obviously muscle growth, protein synthesis, and, you know, repair, recovery, etc., to, you know, being good for warding off Alzheimer's, good for women going through menopause, like all sorts of stuff. You know, cognitive benefits for athletes that are trying to, you know, protect the brain. It's almost like, you know, what doesn't it do? Like, it's just more and more research all the time. It's even like, I don't know if you guys read the stuff on jet lag. It's crazy. You know, if it's sleep deprivation, had a bad night's sleep, only 20 grams of creatine will basically make up for all that cognitive decline that you get. I mean, temporarily, you can't never sleep and keep piling on the creatine.
Damn.
Someone wants to try it?
Damn.
Jeez, I'm gonna keep some creatine in my pocket after a big night.
I was having
wake
light
up,
bulbs.
creatine, I'm good.
I was having light bulbs, like 5-6 hours sleep nights. I'm like, I'll just chuck some creatine down. You squash that one for me.
Seriously, they take 20 to 25 gram acute dose, so it's just the one off if you have had a really bad night's sleep. So
That's awesome.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So I think obviously you've gone into a little bit about, I guess, goals. You've got the gummies coming and a few other things. What else is on the horizon?
I think just keep developing the company, broadening our market. My goal for the company too was just to be large enough that anyone that is buying supplements, there's a good chance they will have heard of us. You know, I didn't want to be a brand that was so small that was sort of a bit underground and was a bit of an oddity in the industry. So,
well, you want to make an impact, right?
Exactly.
That's the core from what you're saying that I'm understanding, is that the core of this is that you want to make an impact from affordability, quality, and so that means that everyone, a large portion of the market, needs to know about bulk nutrients in order to make an impact, right?
For sure. And I have realised too, is I've kind of conceded this over time, that we're not for everyone. Like, if you're, I don't know, you know, where my sister lived, Mossman in Sydney, and you got a certain image that you're trying to project or whatever else, maybe you want your protein to represent that, you know, and spending more and looking like you spend more is part of your image. And there's a whole lot of reasons why you might buy different products. So not everyone's going to be a bulk nutrients customer. There's obviously some brands that are really aligned at sort of women and younger markets, but we're a very broad brand in that we sort of try and encapsulate as many people as possible. But we're not going to be everything to everyone. You know, but
it's important. It's important that you can recognise that.
Yep.
Because your messaging is extremely important to align with that as well.
Yep.
You're not going to go chase the
Yes.
Mossman.
Yep, that's right.
You know, it's just a waste of time, right? So,
Yep.
you know your target, and it is quite broad, as you said. It is quite a broad target. But I think that's the majority of the fitness industry, though. You know?
I should just apologise because I'm sure we have many customers in Mossman. So thanks, guys and girls.
Getting no orders from Mossman anymore.
We're a big dead zone now.
You should be buying something more premium now. Gold. Gold.
It's cool to see bulk, like, at least from my perspective, position themselves. Like you talk about, other people can test different products to check, you know, the purity of those. You got no bullshit essentially attached to anything you do. It's like Aussie, good quality products. You test everything. You're fully transparent. Not everything doesn't have to be super flashy or whichever else. And I think it's cheap. I think it's such an important. I think every industry needs a company like that is so grounded in what they do, and that sets a standard and a baseline for everything else, because it gives you perspective on how the different products are working. I think it's so important.
No, for sure. Yeah, and I think we've found that too. We're kind of price setters and leaders in many ways in the market. You know, it's been the last 6 to 12 months has been pretty tough because we've had such massive increases to raw whey protein, and because that's, you know, we don't. Our main lines, WPI and WPC, they're not blends, you know, but anywhere between 95 and 99% of the product in that bag is whey protein, depending on the flavour you buy. And so we can't do anything to get around that. But absorbing some of that margin and just trying to maintain that value has been pretty tricky. But that said, we find that through these periods we get more and more customers on board, and then when the profits return a little bit, those customers stay with us, you know. So it all evens out in the wash, which is pretty cool.
100%. And so you mentioned as well, you guys are leading in the industry. Do you know where you guys stack up as
in terms of size?
Australia.
Look, the direct-to-customer stuff, I think we're sort of the biggest by a fair margin.
That's how it seems to me.
Yeah, it's funny though, because when you talk about industry size, like we've got the entire sports and wellness market, where you've got, like, you know, brands like Swiss and Blackmores and stuff, and they're more in the general space. You know, they're not competitors of ours. And then you've got the more concentrated sports nutrition, which is obviously, you know, the protein powders, pre-workouts, and then within that you've got a little sort of microcosm, which is the online companies. And so I think the online sports nutrition, we're pretty solid in. You know, we'd have a decent share of that market, which is good. And I
absolutely love hearing, like, with anyone. And I think I don't know if I'm going to go on a tangent here or not, but it's something that I see all the time, right? A lot of us will struggle with, I guess, fear of judgment of what other people think, and I think part of what I love about other business owners is that they will always cheer you on. The people that are ahead of you will always cheer you on, and then the people that you're worried about judging you are nowhere near where you want to be or ahead or anything along those lines. And so I love hearing the story that it started in Japan in the garage or one room with a homemade washing machine, and now it's a team of 150 with online market dominance in Australia with a little bit of international. And just true and honest marketing, messaging, products, and like, I know we haven't spoken too much about it, but the team, like, I'm pretty involved with the team. Sarah, Liam, Michael's was, and some of the past ambassador, I guess, team members as well, all amazing people. And I just absolutely love to hear it that once upon a time, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably like, let's have a go. Who knows what the hell is going to happen here? There's probably some fear.
You would have never have assumed it would get this big, I assume.
Literally. No. Look, I made some predictions in the early days about how big the business could possibly get, and we're like 20 times bigger than that now.
Yes. Wow. And then just being like in business, and all of us probably experiencing like starting something or building something up, the fear of failure, the fear of it not working, and then it's just very reassuring to see that you're a one-man show. You had some help building the machine with your mate or whatever, and then now it's here. It's just I guess it's hope, and it's just a sick story. I absolutely love hearing it, and I love cheering it on as well. And I hope everyone else out there that's listening and stuff can remove the jealous approach to it and look at, you know, you've done it, you started where you started, and, you know, we want to cheer that on. I think that's what we need here in Australia.
Totally. And it's funny too, because I think, like, regardless of the size of the business, if you've built something the different people that say that, either want to lift you up or criticise you. I think the problem with people that are criticising you is that they're effectively they're looking at you and looking at the courage that you've had, and the steps that leaps of faith that you've taken. And I think that they wish they could be as courageous,
Comparing it to themselves, yeah.
And I think it's that thing of, I'm not courageous, I wish I was. If you weren't around, maybe I'd feel better about myself, And I think that's probably one of the unfortunate things. But, I think one similarity I draw between, what I'm doing and what you guys are doing, which is so big, whether it's our customers or our actual staff, but I think that whole, building a community and, I imagine that this gym here, because I can see the way you guys operate and how close everyone is, like, it could be a huge part of people's lives. They might be having a shit life elsewhere or going through a bloody marriage breakdown or whatever else, and, coming in and training with you guys and, having some good vibes and whatever else, talking cars and weights and, it can, building those communities and, sticking with each other can just make such a difference to people's lives.
100%. Business is not just, here's what you paid for, give me the money.
Yep.
It's so much more than that. And if you see it that way, I don't think you'll really last, not in this day.
Yep.
There's so much more, so much more to it.
Yep.
And you can see that through bulk, 100%. Like, I can see it, I can feel it. I'm on the inside a little bit, I guess. I want to be more on the inside and come down for some race days.
Well, now you've heard about the racetrack and the cars.
We had what was meant to be like a g'day, I'll show you around the gym chat before the podcast, and we were 45 minutes late to the podcast because we were talking about cars and racing, and some of the viewers, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, might know that HUSLA's building a race car. Ben's got the same one, and it's been on the track many times, and so we were talking about that for a while. Me and Lockie were getting a bit G'd up, so I think that's...
You sponsor a race team, don't you?
Yeah, look, we sponsor a race team. We also sponsor a motocross team, which is pretty cool. They do Supercross. In fact, I'm coming back on the weekend here because the AusX Open's on, which is a massive Supercross event.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm taking my son to that, which would be awesome. But the racetrack thing is cool. Like, we're the major sponsor of the Basketball, which is a racetrack in southern Tasmania, which is pretty cool. And just about the Mini, actually, which you've got the R53. So I just realised that car holds the time attack front wheel drive street class record in Tasman, which is pretty cool. So,
really?
Your one?
Yeah, my one. Yeah, just remember though, the records in Tasmania.
Were you driving?
A friend of mine was driving.
He's
my
quick.
mechanic.
He's quick. He's very quick.
Yeah. I should say though that the standard in Tasmania is probably not quite as high as Victoria or New South Wales, but
Don't tell Lockie.
Wow.
So we're gonna have to come down for some racing. I won't be able to come on my own. I'll have to bring Lockie 100%. He won't take no for an answer there.
There's no way.
Maybe we get Marcus down in the X3.
I think we ship
Cam and I-30.
We got some of the best driving roads in the world. That's where they have Target Tasmania and great access to racetracks. So Tassie's definitely the place to come and drive cars. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'll come down and get some content 100%. Cool. And you also, I know I mentioned Lockie as well, that most people won't know. So you also, we have an ambassador, or Bulk has an ambassador, Lockie Dalton, who's a V8 race car driver.
Yes, Super 2 racer, and actually just did Bathurst recently, which is pretty cool. And he won a couple of Super 2 races. Yeah. And then I think him and his teammate got 13th or something or 12th in the overall in the main race too. So awesome dude. He is just so, like, he personifies the image that we're trying to I guess not curate, but he's just like super down to earth, so friendly, really helpful, humble dude. Like he's just, Lockie Dalton is just like such a good representative of the kind of athletes we love at Bulk, So you probably won't listen to this cast, but shout out to Lockie.
No, we'll get him on. Maybe when he's racing.
You've been in the car with him.
So you guys got me in the passenger seat, and like I like driving. I like having the steering wheel in my hands from like a comfort standpoint, knowing that I'm in control. In the passenger, I was very scared in the passenger seat, and as soon as he took off, I was like, all right, we're good. And then coming up to the corner, we grabbed on. We might be able to get the video of this because we got GoPro in it. I made sure we got GoPro in it, and then I said to him, I go, is this like, you pushing it hard? He goes, 70-80% here. And we were on two wheels around corners, and I haven't gone that hard in my life in the passenger seat, or the driver's seat, really, to be honest with you. But it was a great experience. what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was messaging him the other day because I was just G'ing up a little bit. I just like to talk to everyone, and obviously he's in that space. I'm like, oh, I bought a Mini. I'm building it as a race car, and he was responding. I'm like, this guy's definitely thinking, mate, just get a V8. Like, what's wrong with you?
That's next.
Yeah,
That's
Knowing you, that's next.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
Nah, the Minis. Enough for now.
Yeah, you gotta cap it, because otherwise, yeah. What do they say? The best way to be a millionaire, like get into car racing but start off as a billionaire.
Because you spend all the money.
Yeah, you can burn it pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely love it. All right,
That's
well,
right.
I think
Just start cutting all your products with maltodextrin. You'll be right.
for maybe a year.
I do wonder. I think, what are those goons up to now? You know.
Just don't tell Ben. He'll be on it.
Yeah, we'll get you. Yeah.
So I think we're clearing up to the hour here. Obviously, where can we find Bulk Nutrients? At Bulk Nutrients.
Yep.
No dots, no spaces on social media.
Yep.
Website, bulknutrients.com.au. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
And I think we've got our app now, so yeah, it's even better if you use our app. So download the app and then you can buy directly through there.
Oh, wow.
And look, it's just something to talk about too. If you want to keep costs down and product costs down, the more you go directly to our website and the more you order through the app, the better it is, because we're basically spending less on ads. You know, so it's cost effective. And we're the kind of company that passes that saving on to a customer.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, that's a plug for our ad, but a plug for you as a customer too.
Yep.
So,
Cool. Is there anything else that I guess the viewers and listeners should know? Maybe like any other way to find you guys or anything along those lines? How can people become ambassadors and all that sort of stuff?
yeah, look, I guess through all the social media channels, as you mentioned, was through the website. Yeah, if you're interested in becoming an ambassador, you can certainly contact us. I think we're up about 60 or so at the moment.
Yep.
We like to keep that number reasonably stable.
Yep.
Yeah. And representative across, different sports and areas and whatever else.
Yep.
But yeah, you'll probably, there's a good chance you'll see us at a sporting event or a bodybuilding show or powerlifting or whatever else too. And yeah.
Go and say hi. Everyone's lovely. The whole team's lovely.
Yeah,
Go and say hi.
yeah,
100%.
That's cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
everyone's lovely.
if you're somewhere where you see Bulk Nutrients,
Yeah.
go and grab a sample and talk to the staff. And one of the things I used to love so much working at all the expos and shows and things is having people come up and say, oh, look, I love your product, and this is my favorite product, and that's super meaningful. It'd be like having someone come up to you and go, look, been training at your gym for a while, love your trainer, etc.
It's definitely reassuring and part of the reason why you do it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. All right, well,
Cool.
Thank you, Ben.
Yep.
We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
My
Thanks for the
pleasure.
potty.
Yep.
Giveaway.
Thanks for listening. So the giveaway, you've got to tell us what the best seller of Bulk Nutrients is, and you can go into the draw. So you're going to comment that on YouTube or Spotify, and the first person to comment the correct answer.
Oh,
Will
they're
win.
gonna.
Is it the first person?
Yeah,
Wait.
they're gonna get fully kitted.
First person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First
Not
person.
drawing.
Okay.
The first correct
Yeah,
answer,
yeah.
I reckon.
First correct answer.
Yep.
First one to listen
will
to
be
me.
the winner of over $500 worth of value.
They'll be turned into a hustler bulkamaniac. They'll be just decked out both out here.
Kitted out with the best. That's it. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening,
Thank
guys. See you
Thanks a
next
lot
time.
for inviting me on. So yeah, great to meet you guys properly too. So yeah, all good.